Despite the universe not wanting me to finish Metroid Prime 3, today I will be finishing Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the very first time. For those of you who watched the previous streams, you know, I've struggled to finish this game and kind of push past, you know, the early to mid game, and I've finally done it. I would say that my overall opinion hasn't turned around too much. Like, I think this game has more merit than I used to give it credit for. Not that I thought that it used to not have merit, but it's more like I just don't know that this game puts up the best first impression. I think that's maybe part of it. Not necessarily with the opening, but I think like Brio, from like a level design standpoint, I'm not super into for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess the thing is, my criticisms that I have had of this game for a long time kind of still stand, but I don't necessarily view them as being as egregious as I once did, I guess, or rather I think it's easier for me to accept those faults and see kind of the greater picture, which is, you know, with most games, there's usually, you know, something that you can pick at, some kind of flaw that, you know, you wish wasn't there, or, you know, there might have been a way to, you know, fix it or like whatever, but it's all a matter of perspective, right? Because, you know, I complain about the linear level design here, but Prime 2 is highly overtly linear as well. But I think it's more so how, like, the levels are interwoven together. Or, like, not with each other necessarily, but I just mean how they're interwoven, what's it called? Within themselves, I guess. Okay, so this thing, I know it's been a little bit longer than it would have been, so I don't remember exactly what I just acquired. The Hyper Grapple. So is this what I need for this? I'm gonna assume, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Yep, okay. Alright. Let's exhaust our Phaaze on here. Also, I'm gonna try to, you know, keep up my usual cadence and all of that, but, I don't need this. At the same time, I might talk a little bit less, just because I am, you know, congested and still recovering and stuff like that, but, I think it'll be okay overall. I think it'll be alright. And I kind of just don't want to wait any longer. Like, I could do this tomorrow or something. Like, I could have waited an extra day, I suppose, but I'd like to knock this out, you know? Even if it takes me a few hours, it's not a big deal. Because, you know, the initial plan was to have this done before Prime 4 came out, and that would have happened if I hadn't gotten sick, but like I said, the universe was trying to not have me finish this game for some reason. Oh, cool, we're here already. Okay, sweet. I am glad that was quick. I know there's a lot more left of the game, or I at least know there's a good bit more left of the game. I don't know about a lot, but okay. So we fall down here. Yes. So we disabled this, which is a teleporter? Okay, I was gonna say. Okay, I don't know why I thought I had to morph ball into that. Interesting. Okay. And yeah, as with last time, this is all brand new stuff to me. since I've previously never made it this far. Never pushed this far.
It seems command codes are needed to gain control of the Leviathan.
Okay.
We have detected that the abandoned ship Valhalla.
Yep, okay. Got it. So, I don't know, did I have to come here first? I know this does nothing, I don't know why I interacted with it again. I wonder if I had to come here first to get that. Like, this game is confusing in that way, where it's like, obviously with the typical Metroid game you would think, oh, I can just, you know, like, go wherever the game lets me with my current set of abilities. But this game has some weird gating in that regard. Okay, I guess I could just soft reset, I guess. Or just quit out and boot back in and just go straight to the Valhalla. But again, I don't know if this was like a criteria for that or whatever, but yeah, we have to go to the Valhalla. I think I am gonna look up the route. I'm gonna make a save, and then I think I am gonna do my best to not waste energy canisters or whatever. But you know what? I might just pull up a guide real quick just so I what's it called? GFS Valhalla minimum energy cells. Well, that pulls up. We'll head back. And at least I have a web page up with potential guides that we can look at. Just because it would be kind of annoying to make a mistake, waste an energy cell, and...
Samus, we have received new data. A planet was detected at the epicenter from where the Leviathan telemetry originated. We have named this planet Phaaze.
It's just a phase. They needed to interrupt that? I don't know, whatever. Okay. So let's head back to the ship, head to the GFS Valhalla. See what we can do here. What was I saying before, though? Kind of lost my train of thought. Not a big deal. It'll come back to me. Oh. It was with regards to something Metroid, right? Oh, like prerequisites and like narrative gating and stuff like that, yeah. But at the same time, yeah, the Prime games, like, I've said it a million times during these streams, but like they are linear. Again, like Prime 1 does the best job of hiding that linearity, and like you have multiple different routes through the planet. Some of it's kind of limiting, but again, you have options if it's like, oh, I want to go back here, check this area out. There's usually I want to say 2 minimum routes that you can take, at least in the late game, you know, once you unlock, like, are able to access all the elevators and stuff like that. Maybe that's close to the mid game for most of them, minus like Phaaze on Mines or something. Yeah, what's interesting though is, like, I've talked about how Metroid 2, not Metroid Prime 2, but Metroid 2's structure and just kind of that game in general is not really my cup of tea. I guess, I don't know, a big part of that is hunting the Metroids though, but I was thinking, like, well, you are going to area with not much reason to go back. And Prime 2 is, like, kind of like that, but not really, because you have the Temple Grounds as a central hub, and they are more directly connected. So it's not exactly the same. But for a second I was like, huh, why do I like this but not that? And it's because they are different. Like, my issue with, like, the issue is not necessarily... My issue is not necessarily that you go from area to area and don't have a reason to double back. I think that's actually, like, an okay way to design, not a Metroidvania, like, that's the thing. Like, it's so tricky, because then it begs the question, are the Prime games Metroidvanias? And the answer is like in the barest sense of the word, I guess. Because like they're Metroidvanias just like the older 3D Zeldas are. Which is to say, like, kind of in the way that they distribute items and abilities that you need to progress, but not so much in terms of the non-linear kinds of aspects. Even though in Ocarina of Time you can do the first 3 Adult Link dungeons out of order, or in any order. In fact, I think the next time I play Ocarina of Time, I might start with Water Temple just to do it. Because I think last time I did Fire Temple first, and usually I do Forest, Fire, Water. But then also, I think if you do... I'm trying to remember. I think if you do Water and you get the long shot, I'm trying to think if there's anything preventing you from doing Spirit Temple after that. I don't think so. Although I feel like Spirit Temple is so fitting as like a last, not last dungeon because you have the castle and stuff, but the last dungeon besides the castle, of course. I guess Shadow Temple could work for that too. I don't know. It's like fighting Twin Rova and stuff like that, you know? So what am I supposed to do here? Okay. So yeah, before I use an energy cell, I'm gonna reference a guide just to like make sure. So like you have to use one to get in, but they literally give you one. I'm actually ass. If my elevation was a little bit lower, that would have been fine, but I should have just double jumped. That's kind of annoying too. Just a little too claustrophobic for the screw attack here. I still hold that the screw attack is super fun in 3D. Okay. Cool. How do I get through here? Do I just blast this, or like what's going on here? What am I missing? Oh, it's okay. I was like, what the hell? Pass through here. I've not encountered a energy cell door yet. Explosive blast. Okay, some enemies. I'm kind of down to use hyper mode here, that's fine. Let's see what's down here. Oh. Okay. But yeah, I'm still, looking forward to jumping into Prime 4, which is part of the reason why I wanted to just, like, wrap this up today, so that I can play some of that tomorrow. or tonight. But I'm still torn if I want to stream it or not. I guess if anyone ends up showing up in the chat, that's who's a regular, I'll probably ask. I'll probably ask if you guys want me to stream Prime 4, because like I'm open to it. I mean, I don't know if I'll guarantee do like the whole game, but I could, you know, at least do like kind of the start maybe or something. But yeah, I'm just kind of torn because typically I like to soak everything in on my own time, you know. Especially because streaming kind of demands a certain level of focus as well. So this is mandatory. So let me just pull up. This is like, I'm pretty sure, unless it's down here, I guess. This must be where we have to go. Right, so these... What the fuck? Why did it... Okay. So this is just the energy cells. Does it tell me, like, where I should use them? Okay, let's just go to this guy. GFS Valhalla. At bare minimum, you'll need 5 energy cells, is what it says. Close that. What in the fuck is this guide on about, dude? This looks like Brio. What is it? I think maybe the screenshots are messed up or something. Okay. Insert one in the empty socket. Yep. Hangar A. So let me just like take a look at the area names. So repair bay, security station, security access, auxiliary lift. So we're in the auxiliary lift. Security station, security access, auxiliary lift, yep. Place one of the power to the lift, now interact with the terminal and ride it up. Okay, I sense a coughing coming in, I'm like trying not to. In fact, let me... That's a solution. Okay. And I guess worst case, if I mess this up, I have a guide open and I can just go find another one, right? Going up. Okay, I just want to look at where... I'm hoping this is like the bare minimum walkthrough, which I think this is. Because it is a walkthrough, it's not like a 100% guide or anything like that. It should be grapple, right? No. Small opening near the bottom. Oh. Duh. Alright, fuck this. Once again, hyper mode is the fuck this button. Okay. What's even over here? Seeker missile something or other? Also, it's kind of weird to me that, like, Seeker missiles are consistently in Prime 2, and I think when they're introduced here, it's like 5 targets, and then they keep showing 4 targets for some reason. So, the door to your right is lacking power, so place an energy cell in the socket, then head through. Okay. If you say so. Part 2. Junction A. There's an energy tank. Aurora access. Aurora chamber. Okay, so we lower the bridges in the Aurora chamber. Is the next energy cell. And I must be getting close just because... I only have 2 left, and I had exactly the amount. And in fact, did I don't even think I went out of my way for any of those energy cells. Did the game just like give them to me on my path? Or maybe some of them were from technically optional areas, but certainly didn't feel like it. Which I guess is kind of like what you want. Okay, so why is it that I can't cross this gap? The 2 energy are blocked by malfunctioning security hatch. Okay, I see. So like we can't even access. Maybe are these the last 2 then? Is that literally it? Oh, I see something over here. Okay. So do I need to use both or what? Because then that would be it. That's 5. Unless they're saying you need to come in with 5. But why would you frame it like that, though? In each to lower 3 bridges leading to the lift. Okay. Oh, that's literally it. Okay. I don't feel like I was even... I know that, like, lower room over here... Or, sorry, at the entrance... I think this room leads to another optional one? I don't know. Like, there's definitely aspects to the artifact and key hunt that are definitely not ideal. AKA forcing new players to, like, scour the entire environment for these things that they, you know, might not have any wherewithal about, even though the game does give you hints and stuff like that. It's like, you know, my first playthrough of Prime 2, I didn't stumble upon the place where you're supposed to, you know, scan the key slots and stuff like that, initially, so, I don't know. But then again, you get the hints from scanning the bodies of the Luminoth, so, I don't know, skill issue, maybe? Yo, can these land? Also, I'm actually shit. Can you, like, respawn me already? What the hell? I thought maybe that would be, like, the secret way to defeat these things, but I'm trying to remember what folks were saying in the chat about that last time. feel like now that I understand how to fight these things, it's not going to be too bad to just fight them normally, but... Damn it. Okay, he spins. I shoot him. Pull this. I mean, this is definitely a quick way to kill him. Okay. Cool. I never expected this place to be that massive, but I'm also kind of like, damn, that's it. Okay. Looks promising. What is this? Oh. Yeah, I don't... Give it power. And then X-ray. Interact. This, and that. Yeah, it's a shame too, because I know probably everyone's already moved on to Prime 4 by this point, but not me. Not quite. Okay, so that's literally it.
The data you just acquired appears to be... It is likely that this code could allow us to control the Leviathan or find a way onto the...
Ah. 78356. So what does this do?
Data log entry Q4. Our efforts to repel the space pirate hoarding force have failed. They have successfully removed the primary mounting structure around our stasis.
What's my fan now?
It is obvious now that they intend to extract us from the Valhalla. It is vital that the Federation receive severing a large sentient blood darkness.
Cool. So now we just gotta manually backtrack out of here because this is Prime 3. Yeah, and that's the thing with backtracking. Like, I think I'm still coming to conclusions, right? As far as the why of how I feel certain ways about these games in particular. I feel like with 2D Metroid, I kind of understand why I feel the way that I do with certain entries, but with the Prime games, I'm still kind of deciphering that, which is part of the fun, which is, you know, part of the reason why I make videos in the first place and do this in the first place, is because I find that process fun. I think putting that on display for other people can be cool too, I guess. I don't know. Oh, shit. What's it called? And I lost my total train of thought. Oh, in terms of backtracking, yeah. I was thinking, like, you know, why is it that I don't view that, like, the dark world of Prime 2, or like a lot of the things that people point to when they say Prime 2 is the worst backtracking, which I think is just, like, literally the opposite of how I feel, is because I guess it's like the way you define backtracking. I guess backtracking is literally going back to an area that you previously were. But I don't mind that so much. It's still, I guess it is still backtracking, but like, it's, if you're approaching it in a different way though, and I feel like Prime 2's area is akin to how Prime 1 is laid out in its entirety, it interconnects, like I was saying, in interesting ways, or like in different ways, to where you're not literally just going back and forth down the same hall. Magmoor Caverns aside, obviously. I'm assuming it's this one, right? No. I think it's Command Center, hold up. Whereas here, like in Prime 3, much of the time, like, more than I realized though, there are, especially like on Elysia, and Pirate Homeworld I think is better about this too, but I still think like there's still a number of times, too many at least, where you go down like this linear path, which Prime 3's levels are like even more overtly linear because they just don't interconnect that interestingly. Maybe Pirate Homeworld is the main exception. What's it called though? But yeah, it's like you'll go down this long hallway to do the thing, and then it's like, okay, come right back down that hallway the exact same fucking way you just came, and it's just not interesting. And then so if you get lost, or if you end up going the wrong direction, or if you end up doubling back somewhere where you're not supposed to go, then it is like double a waste of time, because there's not a quick way to get out of there. You're delving deep down into a dungeon, essentially, only to discover, oh wait, I don't have to be here, and then you have to delve all the way back out, right? With no other interconnecting anything to anywhere, right? I think there's something to be said for getting lost, right? And for that to be part of the experience too. But I don't know, I find that survival kind of aspect, I don't know. I feel like that's more of a thing that's emphasized in like modern indies and stuff like that. Modern indie Metroidvanias, as opposed to like Metroid and Castlevania. Because the Castlevania, it's like, are you really ever getting lost? I mean, like, the map is at your disposal, it's on a grid, you know, like have I ever felt lost in Castlevania? It's like, no, there's probably just, that's not how I would describe it. And with Metroid, it's kind of similar. It's like, well, like, there's dead ends that I haven't inspected, but I don't know that I would call that lost at the same time. It's this, right? Yeah. Landing Site Bravo. Pirate Command. Yeah, okay. Okay. What's it called? Yeah, I mean, I like my little puzzle box dungeons, even if there is like one, you know, intended solution or whatever. I like kind of unfurling and kind of just like solving this like intricately laid out puzzle in a 3D space, you know, which you don't really get to do outside of video games. Like, there are, you know, physical puzzle kinds of things you can do on like a 2D plane, and like, I guess like Rubik's cubes are kind of like a 3D puzzle in that way. Maybe that's where the term puzzle box comes from. I literally, like, I'm not really like I'm not puzzle pilled in that way necessarily outside of video games, really. And in fact, I don't really care for like pure puzzle games either. It's more that it's an element, it's a component. It is a like level design philosophy, but then coupled with, you know, I guess environmental design would pair with this, but, you know, like combat and, you know, storytelling and like all of these different other facets that you have in video games to varying degrees, of course. Because of course with Nintendo games, you know, storytelling tends to not really be the focus. For better or worse, right? Depends on the franchise. And even then, like, there are franchises like Xenoblade and stuff like that now that obviously take storytelling to the forefront. And Fire Emblem, similarly, but I was thinking about this too, and I was like, what is the most narratively driven Nintendo franchise? And I haven't really delved into Xenoblade that much. It's probably Xenoblade, unless I'm forgetting something. Just because, like, even Fire Emblem, for as narratively driven as some of those games tend to be, or like as even some of the games where like the narrative is not the draw and it's not good by most standards, it is still prominent. But at the same time, you compare that amount of time spent in cutscenes and with character dialogue, compare that to the amount of time you're spending managing inventory and doing maps and stuff like that. Like, I feel like the ratio is still heavily in gameplay's favor. Even if that gameplay, and, you know, happens to be, you know, doing like monastery, Somniel shit, right? I like how I was starting to, like, go down the ramp. Hey, Gustavo, it's good to see you. I did, I name-dropped Xenoblade. Yeah. I was saying, if you didn't catch the full thing, that I think Xenoblade is probably Nintendo's most, narratively driven franchise. I'm feeling better. I'm definitely not 100%. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm definitely congested. But, it is a far cry from how I felt a few days ago. That was terrible.
Gain control of the Leviathan. Now we'll be able to open a wormhole and warp to Phaaze.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's time to end this. Once you rendezvous with the fleet, we'll head straight into the belly of the beast. I look forward to fighting alongside you again, Samus. Godspeed.
God exists in this world? In the Metroid universe? Shit. Alright, what are we supposed to do now? Probably get in my ship, right? Federation has gained control. Yeah, so I'm assuming I go back to my ship. I'm probably going to take just a brief bathroom break real quick, and then try to get through Phaaze. I've just, you know, hydrating like crazy. Because I've been ill. But yeah. Yeah, I was just kind of, back to what I was saying. Oh my god.
Take heed, Samus. Once you join the fleet, please be sure to prepare yourself.
They could have just made this like a dialogue box when you get in your ship. Or when you, like, set, whatever. Yeah, I was just hypothesizing about Nintendo's, like, narrative focus and stuff. I forget what the relevance was. I guess as far as, like, how those components play into what I like about games that have puzzle box dungeons as someone who doesn't really gravitate towards puzzle games themselves. And I guess I was saying, like, it's the puzzle box dungeons, but then it's paired with, like, you know, in Zelda's case, it's usually the world or the characters, depending. Sometimes it's the story to a varying degree, or like certain elements of the combat. It's like, it's not really any one thing, and that's something with Zelda in particular I've struggled with, where it's like, what, like, the dungeons are the draw of Zelda for me, because I feel like if I had to pick one thing, you know, but I don't feel like it's usually any one thing. Metroid Prime 3 we should be, yeah, you'll probably be fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. We're gonna go, you know, eliminate the threat that's been haunting the galaxy since Prime 1, basically. We're just gonna, like, go to Planet Phaaze, where Phazon originates, and kill every last one of them. Bring in a Fire Emblem quote, but yeah. We'll save it into the ship. Yeah, the prep for Phaaze was a lot quicker than I anticipated. I thought that was going to take a lot longer. It helped that I had all the energy cells that I needed, though. Sweet. Let's hit it. Final planet of the trilogy. First time beating Prime 3 myself. And that's exciting in its own way. Even though I still think this game is the weakest in the trilogy. Like, pretty easily. But there's more about it than I like, that I like than I previously thought. But I don't necessarily know that that outweighs the things that I'm not as hot on. But funny enough, like, the stuff that I'm not as hot on is, like, it has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with this. You know, like, I like the sense of isolation, sure. And it's like, ideally, we get Metroid stuff more frequently to where, again, they can experiment a little bit more. We get something that's a little bit more story-focused, and then we get something that's more isolationist. And then, like, we can get, like, more of a varied sort of spectrum of Metroid games in the modern era. Which, it's one of those things where it's like Prime 4, I literally have no idea how I'm going to feel about it. And that's strange. Like, obviously, you don't really know until you play something, but I usually, at this point in my life, I can have a pretty good feeling going into even a brand new game. Like I've said it a million times, Dread I thought looked awesome from the jump. And so I knew it was going to be great from the jump. How great? How much was I going to enjoy it? How was it going to be structured? Like, there was obviously questions, and there was obviously things that I was figuring out as I went, but with Prime 4, it's like, I feel like I think I know what I'm getting into, but, like, I just don't know how it's all going to come together. Or how I'm going to personally feel about that. And I think ultimately it's going to come down to level design. Because we already know, like, people have already played it. So, like, I know this should have been happening, like, the day before Prime 4 came out, originally. But, it's not. So, but I'm going to speak as if I haven't played Prime 4 yet, which I haven't. And I'm like, I kind of already know what I'm getting into as far as, like, combat. And as far as, like, you know, the desert, to a certain extent. And, like, I know that there's going to be NPC chatter and stuff like that. Like, I know that, those elements, but I'm like, how is it all going to come together? Right? Is the story going to be compelling enough to, like, you know, make me able to tolerate the chatter and stuff like that? Or, like, again, it's like, you can look at something and identify, okay, this one particular component I'm probably not going to like, because, you know your tastes or whatever. What the hell is happening? Oh. If your phase on level fills completely. Okay. And the more energy tanks you have, the longer that meter is. Interesting. Okay. It's kind of cool. What was I saying, though? Yeah, I just don't know. I'm curious. And I think that... What the fuck? Oh, don't tell me this is another shake thing, because I can't do that. Bro... Why does Prime Hack work like 90% of the time, and 95, 99% of the time, and then shit like this? Hold up. Prime Hack... Phase... Spider webs? Prime 3 phase webs? Am I missing something? Like, am I supposed to... Oh, I'm actually dumb. It looked like something where you would have to shake off, kind of like with the Gendrata, which is not possible for some reason. But what's it called? I don't know. This is a missile, right? I don't know. Again, it's back to that curiosity factor, you know? I am more so curious than anything to see how I feel about Prime 4 than I am, like, upset that this or that is the way that it seems to be, you know? If it's disappointing, it's disappointing. It's like, that would suck, but, like, I also, like, don't like this game that much, either. Which was, you know, the last, I would say, Prime game of note. And, you know, that the Retro Studios is, you know, removed from even the team that did this at this point. Like, again, like, I don't know who is still there and who's not, and who's, you know, a veteran of the industry and who's not, and whatever. It's like, whatever, but fact of the matter is their last Metroid game wasn't my favorite thing ever, either. So we'll see. It's just exciting to get a new Metroid game and just, like, see how I feel about it. Like, good, bad, ugly. We'll find out eventually. Missile. Okay. Motherfucker. Oh, shit. I got turned around because of this piece of shit. Another missile? Yeah. I'm assuming there will be a checkpoint, but at the same time, it might be, like, at my current Phaaze levels. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's this. Okay. Still unclear about how this health system works, kinda, but... Because, like, wouldn't me using hyper mode, like, expunge the, like, wouldn't that restore my health, in theory? I guess not, because I'm, like, oversaturated with it or something. It's weird. This game's weird as hell, dude. I don't know. And also, yeah, I like, want these enemies to absorb the Phaaze, excuse me. Yeah, perfect. So, like, now I'm at full health again. I still don't think hyper mode is, like, a good system necessarily. I don't like it. And I also, like, I don't know, I don't want to speak on it too much, because, like, I want to focus on Prime 3 and stuff like that, but at the same time, you know, it is what it is. You know, I didn't finish this game at the time that I anticipated for extenuating circumstances. God damn it. But it's kind of as I predicted, where it's like, so many people just haven't played Prime 2 and 3, and I'm just like, please stop talking about the series as a whole. Don't speak on Prime 2 or 3 if you, like, have not played them in the past, you know, couple years at least, you know what I mean? It's just, like, so... I'm not saying people can't have opinions, but it's more just, like... I think 2 and 3 tend to get, like, lumped together as being, like, not as good as 1, and I'm just, like, I just don't... Again, it's like, people are entitled to that opinion, of course, but it's like... I don't understand what I'm doing here, okay. But I just think that both of these games need a reevaluation. from like people as a whole, and like part of it's Nintendo's fault because like they didn't, you know, put out remasters for these games. But what's it called? I don't know. Like I get that people like some people are averse to emulation for whatever reason. Some people don't want to deal with it. Some people don't have, you know, the physical setup to do it. You'd be surprised at what can run a GameCube game these days, though. What am I doing? What does this say? It's connection between nearby bioforms and... Okay, so if I kill these guys, this disappears? Okay. Don't remember. And I think that's fine, but I think... You know, I've seen it with some discussion of Prime 4, where it's like... They haven't played Prime 2 or 3, and my big thing is, like, Prime 3 started a lot of this shit in Prime 4. It doesn't mean that it's okay for Prime 4 to, like, continue it necessarily, right? But at the same time, it's like the signs were literally there 20 years ago in terms of some things that, like, I think detract from Metroid. Or, like, you know, like, some things that, like, make this game a lesser Metroid Prime game, or a Metroid game than others, or Metroid Prime specifically. Maybe it'd be best to stick to. Yeah, no, I was with you, Gustavo, and I don't blame you either. Like I was literally with you all the way up until when I decided to stream these kind of, you know, spontaneously, because I was like, well, I want to replay Prime 2 before Prime 4, and it, you know, I thought to myself, like, it would be nice to shit. It would be nice to finish Prime 3 for the first time and stuff like that. Because, yeah, I was, ever since 2023, like, kind of waiting and sort of banking on there being some kind of remaster. This is what I'm supposed to do, right? Am I supposed to tear off more? I think I'm just supposed to kill this thing, right? But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it bothers me that, like, Prime 1 is such... Prime 1's a great game. It's one of my favorite Metroid games. I think it's great. But I think it's such a shame that, like, in many people's minds, it overshadows the other two so massively that, like, they just kind of dismiss the other two. You know, for as much as I don't really like this game, I think that there's still stuff worth talking about. And, like, again, precedent there in terms of, in particular, like, NPCs and stuff like that. And I know between then and now, Other M happened. You know, closer to then than now, obviously, timeline-wise, but, I know that scarred a lot of people in terms of, like, not wanting anything narrative-oriented in Metroid at all. In terms of, like, overt storytelling, which I think is just, like, a flawed perspective, in my opinion. I think it could be done. It just was definitely not done well in Other M. Certainly not. Alright, what the fuck? Oh. Oh, it's, like, moving between the two sides. Okay. Alright, crawl to the other side. But again, it's like, I don't necessarily care about... I don't know the last time that I really, like, looked at a Metacritic score for a game that I was legitimately looking forward to. Sometimes out of curiosity, I'll look into it like, huh, I wonder. It's like usually after the fact, once I've sort of come to my own conclusions. Because I don't really put much stock into that kind of shit. I know my tastes, so I can, like, more often than not, you know, you know, watch trailers, or maybe at the most, like, watch a YouTube video review or something from someone I trust about, like, a particular genre or whatever, and then come to a conclusion of, like, do I want to play this or not, right? And then play it, and then come to my own conclusion, and it's like, who gives a shit about the Metacritic score, whatever. I just hope... Similar... What did I say about this recently? Was it Prime... Was I talking about Prime 4 preemptively? Or was there something else? I do love Dark Samus's design in this game. It's pretty sick. We have a little remix of the Prime 2 boss theme, too. That'll get me invested. God, was it Prime 4? No, it was Rido. It was Rido Remastered, which... I had some criticisms of in terms of, like, some of the changes they made. Not because I hold the first game in super high regard or anything, but just more so... I just watched the video, whatever. I don't need to get into it. But, still a fun game. Still a good time. You know, it's very Matrix. What's it called? That's the clone, I think. Okay, nice. Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. What I was saying about that remaster, though, is, like, I don't really give a shit about how well this sells or reviews or whatever, as long as it, you know, gets us Rido 2 remastered. And I feel similarly about Prime 4, and really most games, it's like, I don't really... As long as it does well enough to get another one, like, I don't really care how well it does. And it's not because, you know, I'm necessarily in love with, you know, the direction that a particular game might be in. It's like, let's say I play Prime 4 and I don't like it very much or something, right? Like, I still want a Prime 5 to happen, but to, you know, obviously, you know, learn certain lessons from the previous game and stuff like that. Like, I don't want it to exist in a vacuum kind of thing where it's like, just because I want a sequel to something doesn't mean that I just want more of that thing in term... Does that make sense? Like, because sequels and stuff like that can evolve, it's like, I just don't want it to kill the franchise. Like, I don't think, like, you know, one middling entry in terms of sales or, you know, whatever, I think would be shitty to, like, then warrant putting the series on ice when you could, you know, take the recent entry, build upon it, learn lessons from it, and get something out sooner that's better, right? And kind of, you know, redeem the state the series is currently in. But then again, I'm also someone who, you know... what's it called? Oh, you started actually full health, which is super sick. It's very helpful, actually. How did that miss? What the fuck? Shit. But yeah, am I making sense? Once again, I feel like I'm not explaining my thought process as eloquently as I would like. No. To be fair, I thought she was going to do the dive attack for some reason. Alright. Kagebunshin. Maybe I should, yeah, I should probably just destroy the clones, right? Proceeds to attack the real one. Oh shit. This is probably morph ball time. Yeah. I just don't know how to deal with the one where she, like, spins around. But I guess if I kill the clones, I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it's like, I think if a game is well received, I think it's okay for a sequel to be iterative and try to improve and not shake things up too much, but it's like, at the same time, every potential sequel like that is an opportunity to do so if it's warranted. Right? If a formula's overstayed its welcome, or whatever, you know, if a particular entry wasn't well received or whatever, it's like, yeah. So that's my only thing. And once again, as with really anything on the internet, but especially with games, it's like, it's so boy who cried wolf bullshit. In terms of like, oh, you know, X game is dead, X series is dead because of like, you know, one blunder or whatever. And it's like, it's just so weird. I don't know. It's just sensationalized bullshit, and I hate it. I'm not saying that there's not genuine opinions out there too. I'm just saying like, that tends to be what the conversation ends up boiling down to, and I don't like that. I want there to be nuance. I don't want there to be praise where there is, you know, like forced praise either, right? You know, toxic negativity and toxic positivity are both bad. They're both toxic. Toxic things are bad. Fun fact. You know, there's plenty of like healthy, to make a food analogy, there's plenty of healthy food and just like really anything becomes toxic at a certain volume. Dark Samus, she's repulsed. I know it means we repulsed her, but double meaning shit, yeah. She's like, ugh, can't believe you. Final boss? Final boss? Aurora Unit 313. Patch on its head protects its core, damage core to sever cables. Okay. I'm hoping there probably is a checkpoint for just this fight, if I had to guess. We are just playing on veteran, it's not hyper mode or anything like that, so I'm not expecting anything too crazy in terms of checkpointing. This game's been pretty forgiving in that regard too. The only thing is like Gandrata's fight starting you at the health that you were actually at, which, you know, makes sense, but at the same time, I kind of appreciate it when a checkpoint does give you your health back. Because then ideally, like, your next time through, you just don't die to begin with, right? You get better, and then you're able to do said fight without being at full health. And I was able to pull it off. I just needed to dodge that one attack. And I was enjoying the process also. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's vulnerable. Okay, I see. So this looks like a 4-cycle, maybe? I mean, I probably could do it in fewer, but yeah. It's kind of refreshing, actually, to be able to use hyper mode infinitely. It's kind of cool. It's not like my favorite thing ever. I would definitely prefer... I definitely prefer the final bosses of Prime 1 and 2 for sure. Because, you know, you're just using more tools at your disposal, and I've said it a lot, where, like, hyper mode is just kind of shallow in that, you know, it's just kind of the same the whole game. Like, yeah, you get the missiles and the bomb. It's like, okay, sure. and the grapple, it's like, okay, yeah, I guess. But it's like, it's really just like niche utility. You don't really use it for combat, you use it for puzzle solving. And yeah, it's just not that interesting. The coolest part about hyper mode is the charge beam, which you have from like basically the beginning of the game, so I'm ass. Thankfully there are health drops and missile drops galore. Jesus Christ, I'm so ass. Okay, there we go. Okay. Do not miss your opportunity. Okay. This could probably be a 3 cycle if I wasn't... Like, get it... Like, get it down to where it only needs one more hit to, end the cycle and then missile it for big damage. That seemed like it was kind of the play. And more tentacles. I mean, these health drops. Why are you boost balling? What the hell? There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like... The other thing, too, is like, okay, here's an upgrade that is just an ability you have, but you can use in a hyper mode now. It's like, you know, the hyper grapple is not really any different than the regular grapple lasso that you, again, have since, like, damn near the beginning of the game, so... I just don't think mechanically it ends up being that interesting, but... Okay, one more cycle. So it was a 4 cycle. Fair enough. I don't hate this fight, but it's certainly no Metroid Prime, and it's certainly no Ember Ring, that's for damn sure. Unless there is, like, a hidden phase, pun not intended, that, what's it called? Is after this. Fuck. Motherfucker, god damn you. What a load of bullshit. I'm actually bad. Jesus Christ, just sit still. Okay. Let's attack. Oh, there's health drops. Okay, give me these. This. I'm unsure if it's beneficial. I should probably kill both of them first. My god. Oh god damn it. Okay. Wait, what the hell? I didn't realize it would die that quickly. What the hell? Okay, give me the grapple, damn it. Gotcha, bitch. Lit. No, that's also fair. Yeah, yeah. From what you gathered, okay. Okay, we do have a second phase. Hold up. Quadraxis moment. Why are they playing Frere in Theremin? What the fuck? So powerful it lags the game out. That has not been a problem since I turned the anti-aliasing down. Oh, I see. No, I don't. No, I definitely don't. I don't see. Is this like Seeker Missile moment? No, because you can't Seeker Missile in Hyper mode. It's shoot him in the back. Oh, fuck. Frere. Okay. Would you count that as a one cycle? But yeah, I'll check the chat out, check the chat out after I'm done with this fight, once we get a cutscene playing and all that. A cutscene in a Metroid game? It's like, I don't know, it's just like you see takes like that where it's like, I don't know, whatever. People will think what they're gonna think. I shouldn't care so much, but I care about this franchise. I also don't think Prime 4 is gonna sell poorly. I just think I just think that Metroid is destined to be a niche franchise just because of how, like, I'm not saying Prime can't evolve or whatever, and we'll talk more about that when it comes to Prime 4, but fuck. Yes, fuck yeah. Okay, barely made it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And like they know Metroid doesn't usually sell well, so even though Prime 4 was in development hell and I'm sure it costed them more than they expected, I'm sure in the grand scheme of things it's fine, and they probably know that some of the downsides critically in terms of how people are perceiving it probably stem from too many cooks in the kitchen, probably stem from being in development for so long and restarting and like all, like, you know what I mean? It's like it's hard for a game that went through that kind of process to come out the other side, you know, like masterful or something like that. And that's subjective, of course, but yeah. Atelier actually has been going through some yeah, I noticed, like, I didn't know it was technical issues, but I know, like, the newer one, or the newest one that was, like, action-focused, doesn't have the greatest reviews on Steam. I don't know much about Atelier, but, I guess, I don't know, it's been a minute since I, like, read the reviews, because I was curious, just because I know you like that series a lot.
Unstable energy spikes in multiple locations on the planet. It's a chain reaction. It's accelerating. The planet's going to explode.
Right? It's...
Order the fleet to disengage and prepare to retreat. Activate the Leviathan's warp field. Get us out of here.
It's like, do I think that these cutscenes are, like, excellent or something like that? It's like, no, but I don't hate the idea, right? I do think Samus should be operating on her own for, you know, the majority of her adventures, but she's also an ally of the Federation, so I think, like, having some Federation interaction here and there is okay. Because as much as I love this series, like, you know, Samus goes to a planet, she discovers, you know, some tragedy that's befell them or is going to befall them or something, and she stops it on her lonesome and leaves, the planet may or may not blow up. It's like, how many times can we do that, right? Like,
Damage reports coming in. We've lost 37% of the fleet.
at a certain point, you have to involve other sentient species. At a certain point, like,
We've confirmed the wormhole has
to build the world out more, right? Instead of just building out these individual worlds that are just dead, it's like there's civilization. I'm not saying that that's necessarily best explored as Samus. Maybe they should do a spin-off as a different like, I don't know. Again, I think that a spin-off as someone like Psylux or as someone like some of these other characters they've introduced could be cool. You know? Prequels and stuff like that.
Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Samus's ship.
But you need those games to release like alongside more traditional entries. Right, that's why I've said it before. It's like that's the main reason I think Federation Force was received so poorly, is because it's the first Metroid thing that we got since Other M. 6 years, right? And if you want to wipe Other M from your memory, then it was Prime 3, and that was 9 years. And it's like, Samus Returns was right around the corner, we didn't know. But it's like, but what if they announced both at the same time? Or what if they announced Samus Returns first, and it's like, hey, but also there's this spin-off title if you want something that's like a little different. But they didn't do that. It's really dumb. I think it comes down to they don't know how to market this series. Really about the identity of Atelier, fair enough. Yeah, did they lean away from the alchemy stuff or something like that? I'd be interested to hear about it. Like, I'm down to... This is super short stream. I expected there to be at least like 2 hours of game left. But that was, yeah, I didn't even have to go out of my way for any of the MacGuffins. But yeah, Prime 3, Ultimate Verdict. I think it's still among, like, my less preferred entries in the series. It's one of those games where I'm like, I don't know if I feel a draw to come back to this, unless I am explicitly at some point going to be like, I'm going to replay the Prime Trilogy again in its entirety. Like, I might going forward just be like, I'm just going to play Prime 1 and Prime 2, maybe back to back, maybe just like whenever I feel like for either, you know? Again, it's like, I don't feel like these games are so narratively driven to where like I think Prime 2 feels conclusive enough. Like, I don't... Like, we can just pretend, like, I can go into those games, play them, feel satisfied, and just kind of be like, okay, cool, Phaaze is gone, sweet.
Has ended.
And it's like, I know the events of Prime 3 now, so it's like, I don't necessarily need to replay it to, like,
This victory
retain that and have that sense of conclusion, but,
spreading the light of hope through
again, I didn't really find this finale to be, like, that amazing either. Like, Elysia has some cool stuff going on. Pirate Homeworld has some cool stuff going on, but like none of this game really reaches, I think, any of the highs of 2, and I don't know, it might surpass 1 in highs just because I think the best boss fights in this game I think are better than the vast majority of the boss fights in Prime 1, because I think Prime 1's bosses are kind of weak. All told, like Andreda and Omega Ridley are badass. Rundus is fun to fight too. Like, there's a number of cool fights in this game, but there's also like, it's probably split down the middle of like fights that are super sick, some of the best in the series, and then like the other half are just kind of okay, you know? Prime 2 has some of the best in the series, and then some are frustrating, and then some, like, but most of them are really good. And I guess when I say series, I'm mostly talking about Prime, I guess, specifically, but Prime 1, it's really just specifically, I think, the finale that shines in terms of boss fights. Parasite Queen's kind of fun for a tutorial boss, I guess, but yeah. I still wouldn't be surprised, like, I'm sure that certain elements of Prime 4 are going to drag it for me. I'm almost certain of that. I just don't know how that's going to filter into the complete package, you know what I mean? And, I still wouldn't be surprised if I prefer Prime 4 to this, just for particular reasons. even if Prime 4 does end up ranking lower or whatever. Like, I'm just curious to see. I'm just really interested to see how I feel. And in fact, I could end this stream and just stream some of Prime 4 right now. I could do that. I could definitely do that. I'm very congested right now, but I could do that. It's more so the push for JRPG type narrative in recent entries, whereas before it was very character. Okay, fair enough. I see. Okay. So maybe more of like a narrative and structural focus shift for Atelier as opposed to it being like necessarily the gameplay stuff. Yeah, we got our kicks. At 66. 734. Hyper mode difficulty active. Was that a shorter in-game time than Prime 2? I wouldn't be surprised. Prime 2 is... Choosing to save now will finish this game of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. When you select your save slot again, why does this not give you the option for Prime 1 and 2? I kind of wish you could boot into their actual... boot in your endgame save and go clean up 100% before fighting the final boss. Or like, and then refight the final boss like it typically is, I think. Well, actually, no, now that I think about it, maybe... do you save clear data in Prime? I'm trying to remember in Prime Remastered. Maybe it is actually just like that. Okay. So yeah, hovering in like the 60%-ish per game. Prime 3 took me less in-game time, probably more real-time, because I died much more. But, yeah. Again, I don't know if Prime 3 is going to be a game I come back to. I'm not sure. But Prime 1 and 2 certainly will be. And I still think Prime 2 is the best one. Like, pretty easily. I still think Prime 1 is great, but I think people who write off Prime 2 and haven't played it in a while should play it again. I think that in this day and age, I think it would be appreciated for a lot of the things that it did, even if it still retains that, like, clunkiness of the original, right? Which is why a remaster would be nice. Give it a proper control scheme for, you know, dual analog and stuff like that, and maybe just polish up some things in terms of hit detection, and other than that, they should leave the game alone. Like, I really don't think they should change much, if anything. Although it would be interesting to see, because I know there was a lot of scrapped content for Prime 2 and it was rushed. I imagine, like, I think it's the best Prime game, and it was rushed. Like, it was this rushed product that still ended up being better than the other two. 3 at this point, I guess. 4, 5 if you count Hunters and Federation Force, but not to write those games off, but I'm just talking about the trilogy. God, I'm so used to wearing my glasses the past couple days that I went to adjust them, but yeah, I'm not banking on that though. Nintendo doesn't do those kinds of remakes, like, ever. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I guess Samus Returns, but that was like external, and I guess a Prime 2 remake that realized its original vision and stuff, like, that would be external too, I suppose, but I don't even really necessarily need that.